The alien fleet had hovered above Earth for weeks, observing, testing, and attempting to understand a species that refused to be predictable. What began as a planned invasion had transformed into a lesson in humility for the most advanced forces in the galaxy. Commander Rin, once confident in her fleet's superiority, now faced a reality she had never imagined. Humans were extraordinary, not just in spirit but in intellect and creativity. On Earth, humanity had unified in ways never seen before. Scientists, engineers, military officers, and civilians collaborated on a scale that transcended borders, languages, and cultures. The planet was alive with communication networks, observation posts, and coordinated actions. Each human had contributed, knowingly or unknowingly, to a defense that had become a symbol of ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. In Geneva, Dr. Elena Cortez monitored the alien fleet one last time before initiating a formal communication. She transmitted a clear, respectful message. We seek peace. We have demonstrated our ability to defend ourselves and adapt to challenges. We hope this encounter can lead to understanding, cooperation, and respect between our species. The message reached Commander Rin aboard the mothership. She regarded the signal thoughtfully. They are not only clever, they are deliberate, she said to her officers. They understand the value of communication, of diplomacy. They are remarkable. The Galactic Council had been observing silently, taking detailed notes of Earth's responses, strategy, and coordination. For the first time in recorded history, a species had forced them to reconsider assumptions about intelligence, strength, and potential. Ambassador Revlon spoke during a council session. Earthlings are not just resilient, they are innovative, unified, and capable of thinking beyond immediate survival. Their actions demonstrate qualities we have rarely observed in any species. They deserve recognition and respect. The council agreed. A decision was made. The alien fleet would withdraw and formal recognition would be extended to humanity. This was not only a victory for Earth, it was a message to the galaxy. Humans were no longer simply a planet with intelligent life. They were a species worthy of acknowledgement, respect, and careful consideration. Back on Earth, citizens watched as the alien ships gradually ascended, their massive hulls reflecting sunlight in a final display of silent acknowledgement. There was no celebration yet, only quiet reflection. Humanity had survived not because of weapons, not because of superior technology, but because of creativity, adaptability, and unity. Every child, teacher, scientist, engineer, and volunteer had played a part in shaping the outcome. Captain Marcus Lee addressed the world through a live broadcast. Today we have proven that humanity cannot be underestimated. We faced a challenge that no one expected us to survive. And we not only survived, we learned, adapted, and demonstrated our capacity for intelligence and courage. This is the beginning of a new chapter for Earth. In cities across the globe, people reflected on what had transpired. Families gathered on rooftops, in parks, and along streets to watch the sky. They shared stories of their contributions, small acts that had made a difference and ideas that had grown into global strategies. The world had come together in a way that transcended borders and politics, united by a single goal: survival and ingenuity. Commander Rin, aboard the mothership, looked down at Earth one last time. This species, she said softly, almost to herself, is unlike any I have encountered. They are unpredictable, resourceful, and united. Perhaps this planet deserves more than conquest. It deserves respect. The Galactic Council invited human representatives to a neutral space station for formal acknowledgement. Dr. Cortez and Captain Lee were chosen to represent Earth. They traveled with caution but with confidence, knowing that their species had earned the right to be heard and respected. In the council chambers, representatives from countless civilizations watched as Earth's leader spoke. Dr. Cortez began, her voice steady and calm. We are honored to be acknowledged by the Galactic Council. Humanity is still young in interstellar terms, but we have demonstrated our capacity for courage, creativity, and collaboration. We hope to continue learning, sharing knowledge, and contributing to a galaxy that values cooperation and respect. The council members listened attentively. For the first time, humans were not outsiders. They were equals, observers, and contributors with the potential to influence interstellar relations. Ambassador Revlon spoke on behalf of the council. Earthlings have proven their worth. Their ingenuity, adaptability, and unity are qualities that cannot be ignored. They have turned a situation that could have led to their defeat into a demonstration of intelligence and resilience. They are now recognized as a species capable of contributing to the galaxy in meaningful ways. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. Children cheered, adults reflected, and scientists celebrated quietly. Humanity had faced an extraordinary challenge, not just surviving, but earning its place in the eyes of civilizations far beyond their world. The message was clear. Earthlings were no longer just inhabitants of a small planet. They were participants in a larger cosmic community. Captain Lee addressed his team privately. "We didn't just survive because of strategy," he said. "We survived because we are human. We are adaptable, creative, and united. That is our strength, and the galaxy has finally seen it." In the weeks following, humans worked to formalize communication networks with the Galactic Council. Scientists exchanged knowledge, engineers shared techniques, and diplomats began discussions about interstellar cooperation. Humans were no longer isolated. They were recognized as intelligent, capable, and worthy of trust. Even the alien fleet that had once hovered above Earth remained in orbit for a time, observing quietly. Commander Rin reported their observations back to the Council. "These humans, they are remarkable. Perhaps they will become one of the most influential species in the galaxy. Their potential is extraordinary." On Earth, life slowly returned to normal, but nothing was truly the same. Cities, schools, and communities carried the experience of unity and ingenuity. People knew that survival required more than strength. It required thinking, adapting, and working together. Humanity had faced one of the greatest challenges imaginable and emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident. Dr. Cortez reflected on the months of preparation, observation, and strategy. "We have learned a valuable lesson," she said. "Our strength lies not just in our technology or knowledge, but in our ability to think creatively, adapt quickly, and unite as a species. That is the essence of humanity." Captain Lee looked up at the night sky, now free from the looming presence of alien ships. "The galaxy is watching us now," he said quietly. "They know that Earth is not to be underestimated, and we are ready for whatever comes next." Children looked at the stars with wonder, imagining the possibilities beyond their world. Scientists planned new satellites, new experiments, and new ways to communicate with the stars. Communities remembered the unity that had carried them through the challenge. Humanity had not only survived, they had grown. The Galactic Council continued to observe Earth with respect. Plans were made to include humans in discussions about interstellar diplomacy, defense, and knowledge exchange. Earth had earned a place in the galaxy, not through domination or conquest, but through intelligence, creativity, and courage. Commander Rin, reflecting on the events, knew that the experience had changed her perspective. "We faced a species we thought would be easy to conquer," she admitted. "Instead, we discovered a civilization of thinkers, innovators, and collaborators. They have earned our respect. They are human." And so, humanity's story reached a turning point that would echo through the stars. Earthlings had faced an unprecedented challenge, adapted with intelligence and creativity, and emerged recognized by civilizations far older and more advanced. They had earned respect not by force, but by showing the galaxy the true power of human ingenuity, courage, and unity. Captain Lee, Dr. Cortez, and countless others looked to the future with hope. Earth was no longer an isolated planet. It was a recognized participant in the cosmic community. Humans had proven themselves capable, remarkable, and ready to meet whatever the universe might bring. The story of Earth's resistance became legend, not just on their own planet, but across the stars. For the first time, humanity was seen not as a small, untested species, but as a force capable of shaping the galaxy through intelligence, creativity, and unity. And somewhere in the depths of space, alien scouts and Galactic Council members alike remembered Earth's demonstration of unexpected strength, forever marking the planet as a home of remarkable beings, humans who had earned their place among the stars. Humanity had not only survived, they had been recognized, respected, and elevated. Their journey in the galaxy was just beginning, and the universe would never underestimate them again. The sky was a perfect blue that morning, calm and quiet as if the world had paused for a moment. Birds flew lazily, and the city streets below were filled with the usual buzz of human life. Children laughed on playgrounds, cars honked in traffic, and the hum of everyday life seemed endless. Humanity, at least for now, believed the universe beyond the atmosphere was a distant mystery, full of stars and planets that belonged to someone else. Then, without warning, the serenity shattered. At first, people saw tiny dots high above the clouds, almost like distant stars. But these weren't stars. They moved too fast, organized too perfectly. Soon, the dots grew into glimmering streaks of silver and black, slicing across the sky in formations humans had only imagined in science fiction. The ground trembled slightly, and a cold shiver of fear ran through anyone who noticed. By the time the first news reports began broadcasting, it was already too late to panic. Millions were already watching as massive ships emerged from the clouds, hovering above cities, oceans, and deserts alike. The ships were immense, unlike anything humans had built or even imagined. Sleek surfaces glinted in the sunlight, edges sharp and precise, while strange symbols glowed faintly along their hulls. Governments scrambled to react. Fighter jets were scrambled, satellites were activated, and warnings were broadcast worldwide. Yet no one knew how to fight such a threat. The ships didn't fire immediately. They just hovered, silent and menacing, as if studying the planet below. Humanity's military experts debated their purpose. Were they scouts, invaders, or something else entirely? In the midst of panic, a small group of scientists and strategists met in a secure underground facility. Dr. Lyra Moreno, a leading astrophysicist, stared at a massive holographic display showing the alien ships. Beside her, Major Aaron Patel, a seasoned military strategist, tapped his fingers nervously. "They've never done this before," Lyra said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes betrayed her concern. "Every recorded species we've observed in the galaxy either attacks immediately or avoids planets entirely. This waiting is unusual." Aaron shook his head. "We don't have time to guess. Cities are panicking. People need answers, not theories." Lyra studied the ship's formation. They're not just scattered randomly. "Look at this pattern. It's almost mathematical. They're surveying, calculating, maybe even learning about us." The team fell silent. The thought that an advanced species could study humans, predict human behavior, and perhaps even manipulate it was frightening. Meanwhile, on the streets below, civilians reacted in varied ways. Some screamed and ran, others simply froze, staring at the sky in disbelief. Children tugged at their parents' hands, asking questions that had no answers. Social media exploded with images and videos, each clip showing more of the alien ships, more of the looming shadow over human civilization. In New York, Liam Carter, a young engineer, stood on the rooftop of his apartment building, mouth slightly open. His sister Maya gripped his arm. What are they?" she whispered. "I don't know," Liam replied. He had spent years designing drones and robotics, but nothing in his experience prepared him for this. "But whatever they are, we're going to find a way to understand them." Across the globe, the alien presence caused immediate disruptions. Flights were canceled, communications fluctuated, and entire cities went into lockdown. Scientists and engineers worked feverishly to detect any electronic signals emitted by the alien ships, hoping for a clue to their intentions. Then, the first attacks happened, not by weapons but by infiltration. Drones, small and fast, descended from the ships and began scanning buildings, infrastructure, and even individuals. People described them as floating spheres with blinking lights, moving in ways that seemed impossible for any Earth-made machine. The world panicked. News outlets broadcast footage of drones passing through walls, observing humans with strange, unblinking sensors. The aliens weren't attacking yet, but the invasion had begun in a way humanity had never considered: observation and control. In the underground facility, Dr. Moreno and her team worked day and night. They monitored global communications, studied drone patterns, and attempted to decipher the alien technology. Slowly, a picture began to form. "They're not mindless warriors," Lyra explained during a tense briefing. "They're collectors, observers. They study civilizations before deciding whether to conquer, negotiate, or leave. Every other species we know of follows a strict pattern. Once they decide, it's over. But with humans, it seems different." Major Patel frowned. "Different how?" "They're hesitating," Lyra said. "And I think they're curious." The word echoed in the room. The aliens had come to Earth expecting perhaps an easy victory. Yet something about humans caught their attention. Lyra wasn't sure what it was, but she suspected it was human unpredictability, the ability to think in ways no formula could predict. Outside, in the chaos of the cities, ordinary people began to show courage that surprised even themselves. Firefighters rescued citizens trapped under debris from panicked crowds. Teachers led students to safety with calm determination. Engineers like Liam began building barriers and emergency devices using whatever materials they could find. On the outskirts of Washington, D.C., a group of volunteers set up a communication relay to warn nearby towns about incoming drones. They improvised from radios, satellite dishes, and even repurposed car electronics. "We can't just hide," said an older man named Thomas, his hands steady as he adjusted wires. "If they're watching, we have to show them that humans are not easy." This human resilience did not go unnoticed. From the alien ships, a low hum resonated, almost like a vibration in the air. Scientists speculated it was a form of communication, or perhaps an analysis of human behavior. Whatever it was, the aliens had yet to fully understand the species below. Back in the underground facility, Dr. Moreno's team worked frantically. They mapped drone movements, predicted patrol patterns, and developed the first countermeasures. Even as fear gripped the planet, a small spark of hope emerged. Humanity was not helpless. Humans could learn, adapt, and respond. As night fell, the alien ships remained in orbit, massive shadows against the moonlight. Across the globe, humans stayed awake, watching the sky, wondering what the next day would bring. Families huddled together, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, and ordinary citizens began taking small actions to protect themselves and their communities. In a quiet moment, Liam and Maya sat on their rooftop, looking at the glowing silhouettes above. "Do you think we can stop them?" Maya asked, her voice trembling. Liam placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I don't know," he admitted. "But humans, we never give up. And maybe that's something they didn't expect." High above, in the alien command ship, enormous eyes, or sensors, observed the activity below. Patterns were logged, signals were recorded, and calculations were made. The invaders had prepared for an easy conquest, yet Earth was proving different. And somewhere, far away in the chambers of the Galactic Council, representatives of countless worlds monitored the unfolding events. Their eyes widened as reports came in. A species thought primitive was demonstrating creativity, courage, and resilience unlike any they had recorded. Humanity had survived the first hours of invasion, not by advanced weapons or overwhelming firepower, but by using its greatest strength: intelligence, adaptability, and determination. For Earth, the long night of uncertainty was only beginning. The aliens had arrived. The world had united in fear. And yet humanity had already shown its first spark of resistance. The coming days would test every skill, every courage, and every mind on the planet. And the galaxy would watch incredulous as humans prepared to meet a force they were told could not be resisted. For now, the first part of the story ends with a single undeniable truth. Earth was awake, and humanity had begun to fight, not just to survive but to astonish the universe. The morning after the alien ships first appeared, Earth was not silent. Cities that had trembled in fear now buzzed with frantic activity. Humanity had survived the initial shock, and a new energy began to flow through the planet, one born of determination, ingenuity, and the refusal to be controlled. In underground facilities and makeshift command centers, humans worked tirelessly. Engineers, scientists, and ordinary volunteers joined forces, improvising strategies to counter the alien drones that patrolled the skies. No one had manuals for this. No one had instructions on how to fight a species that had conquered countless worlds. All they had was intelligence, courage, and the desire to protect their homes. Dr. Lyra Moreno, still coordinating from the underground laboratory, reviewed the latest drone scans. "They're learning fast," she said, her fingers dancing over the holographic screen. "Every pattern we've observed, they're already adjusting. But they still make mistakes, small ones. That's where we start." Major Aaron Patel paced behind her. "Mistakes are good. Humans can exploit them. But we need a plan beyond just defense. We need offense. We need to show them that Earth won't be an easy target." Across the city, Liam Carter and a small team of engineers worked in a converted warehouse, filled with electronics, metal scraps, and blinking monitors. They were designing the first human countermeasures, not weapons in the traditional sense, but tools that could disrupt and confuse the alien technology. "Look at this," Liam said, holding up a small device connected to a modified drone. "If we can jam their signals for even a few minutes, we can buy time." "Time is all we need." Maya, his sister, frowned. "And what about the drones they've already deployed?" "People are scared. They don't know if they're safe even in their homes." "That's why we need smart traps," Liam replied. "We'll use the environment. The streets, the power grids, even the weather. Everything can help us." While the human teams worked in secrecy, the alien drones continued their patrols. They scanned buildings, hovered over highways, and occasionally fired small energy pulses, not lethal but designed to intimidate. Cities became a maze of fear and tension, yet humans adapted quickly. They learned to hide, to mislead, and sometimes even to fight back in subtle ways. In London, a group of teenagers repurposed delivery drones to interfere with the alien spheres. They programmed them to mimic human activity, creating false signals that confused the alien sensors. Across the Atlantic, fishermen in the Pacific used nets and mirrors to reflect the drone's lights, creating illusions that made the invaders miscalculate. Every small success gave hope. The first coordinated human attack came unexpectedly. In the outskirts of Berlin, engineers and military units had prepared a network of improvised traps. When a group of drones descended to investigate, humans activated a series of electromagnetic pulses, short-circuiting the alien devices temporarily. The drones spiraled out of control, some crashing into the ground, others retreating to the motherships. The victory was small, but the effect was monumental. News spread across the globe. Humans had struck back. For the first time, fear was mixed with hope. Ordinary citizens realized that they could make a difference. Courage, resourcefulness, and quick thinking became as powerful as any weapon. Dr. Moreno analyzed the data from the Berlin engagement. "They didn't expect this," she told Major Patel. "Their calculations assume civilizations follow predictable patterns. Humans are unpredictable. That's why we're winning small victories." Major Patel nodded. "We turn unpredictability into strategy. That's our edge. The aliens may have the technology, but they don't understand human instinct, creativity, or determination." Meanwhile, Liam and Maya faced a new challenge. As they improved their devices, they realized the aliens were beginning to adapt. Some drones resisted jamming attempts, and the signals from human equipment were being analyzed in real time. It was a dangerous game of anticipation and adaptation. "We need something bigger," Liam said, frustration in his voice. "Something they won't expect." Maya thought for a moment. "What if we use the city itself? Roads, buildings, lights, everything can become part of the defense. We create patterns they can't calculate." It was a bold idea. Using infrastructure as a defense, humans could manipulate alien sensors, creating illusions of mass movement or empty zones where drones expected crowds. Within hours, Liam and his team had devised a network of signals and decoys across several neighborhoods. They programmed streetlights to blink in specific sequences and used traffic drones to simulate human activity. When the aliens responded, they were confused, making errors that humans exploited to their advantage. Elsewhere, acts of bravery unfolded on every continent. In Rio de Janeiro, volunteers guided citizens through safe evacuation routes while avoiding drone surveillance. In Tokyo, engineers converted everyday machinery into early warning systems. In Nairobi, a team of scientists developed a method to detect drone scanning frequencies, warning communities before drones arrived. The alien invaders began to notice these unexpected human tactics. Sensors registered discrepancies in patterns. Energy pulses from their ships occasionally missed targets. Drones collided with obstacles or retreated when they should have pursued. Slowly, the invaders began to adjust, but every adjustment revealed another vulnerability. One day, while observing drone patterns, Dr. Moreno discovered a critical weakness. "They rely on a central communication hub," she explained to Major Patel. "If we can disrupt it, we can make them blind temporarily. We could give humanity a real chance to fight back on a larger scale." Major Patel's eyes lit up. "That's it. That's our first offensive advantage. But it won't be easy. We need precision, timing, and courage." Humanity's first large-scale coordinated counterattack was planned with military precision. Using a combination of drones, EMP devices, and human ingenuity, Teams around the world aimed to interfere with alien communication and surveillance systems simultaneously. The operation required exact timing, coordination, and trust. When the moment arrived, humans executed the plan with skill and determination. Cities lit up with blinking patterns and signals. EMP pulses hummed in streets, alleys, and towers. Drones spiraled in confusion, some colliding with buildings or retreating. For several critical hours, the aliens were blind to human movements. Civilians evacuated, engineers repaired infrastructure, and military units organized defensive positions. It was not a total victory, but it was enough. Enough to show the invaders that humans would not be conquered easily. Enough to prove that Earth was not a helpless planet. Humanity had learned quickly, adapted faster, and begun to fight back with intelligence and courage. The Galactic Council, monitoring events from afar, was stunned. Species across the galaxy had fallen quickly to the invaders. No one had resisted for more than a few hours. Yet Earth was proving a different story entirely. Reports streamed in. Humans were not just surviving. They were adapting, creating, and challenging a force thought unbeatable. On the rooftops of New York, Liam and Maya watched the first successful disruption. "We did it," Maya whispered, a mixture of relief and disbelief in her voice. "We did," Liam replied. "But this is just the beginning. The aliens will adapt. We have to keep thinking, keep moving, keep surprising them." In the skies above, alien drones recalibrated. Their sensors attempted to analyze the humans' unconventional tactics, but every calculation seemed to fail. The invaders had underestimated the species they believed primitive. Humans were proving their greatest strength: intelligence, unpredictability, and the courage to act despite fear. For the first time, Earth was no longer just a target. It was a battlefield where humans were not passive victims but active defenders. Ordinary people became heroes. Engineers became tacticians. Children and elders alike contributed in small but vital ways. Every action, no matter how minor, created ripples that the aliens could not ignore. Dr. Moreno and Major Patel observed the outcomes with a mix of pride and concern. Humanity had won the first battles, but the war was far from over. The invaders were learning, adapting, and preparing for the next move. Humans had to stay one step ahead or risk losing everything, yet, amid the fear, chaos, and uncertainty, one thing was clear. Earth had begun to fight back, and humanity was showing the galaxy a power it had never expected. They were not just surviving, they were proving that cleverness, courage, and determination could challenge even the most advanced invaders. And somewhere, in the depths of the alien command ships, sensors and eyes recorded every human action. The invaders began to understand something startling. Earth's inhabitants were unlike any other species they had encountered. Creative, unpredictable, resilient, humans were proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a species could rise, adapt, and fight back in ways no machine could predict. Humanity had taken its first step into the fight, not with advanced alien weaponry, not with overwhelming force, but with its greatest gift: intelligence, courage, and the refusal to surrender. The battle for Earth was only beginning, and the universe was about to notice a species that would not be ignored. The battle for Earth had entered a new phase. The initial shock of alien arrival was over, and humanity had begun to adapt. Small victories had shown that humans could fight back, but the invaders were not idle. Alien drones scanned cities, motherships hovered above oceans, and an ominous hum resonated from orbiting vessels. Every human movement was being observed, analyzed, and tested. Yet despite the threat, humans were no longer the passive prey. Across the planet, ordinary citizens became extraordinary, and the world began to unite in ways never seen before. Soldiers, engineers, scientists, and volunteers worked together, sharing information and tactics. Humanity had discovered a hidden strength: the ability to act unpredictably, creatively, and with relentless determination. In Paris, an international coalition of engineers monitored the drones' patrol patterns. Using modified communication devices, they disrupted alien signals and created false readings. Streets and rooftops became a network of decoys, confusing the invaders. At the same time, scientists deployed small electromagnetic pulses that forced drones to shut down or malfunction. Dr. Lyra Moreno, coordinated efforts from a secure underground command center. Her holographic display showed red blips representing alien drones, many now drifting or inactive thanks to human countermeasures. "They're beginning to panic," she said, eyes scanning data streams. "Their calculations don't account for creativity. Humans aren't predictable, they never have been." Major Aaron Patel nodded. "Good, let's keep pushing. We need to go beyond defense. We need to show them that humans are capable of striking back." Liam Carter and his sister Maya were part of one of the teams executing these tactics. From their rooftop laboratory, they monitored drone activity and deployed small devices designed to interfere with the invaders' sensors. "Every time we confuse them," Liam said, "we buy time for people on the ground. And every bit of time matters." Maya adjusted a blinking array of lights across the rooftop. "The drones are moving differently now. Look, they hesitate before scanning buildings. They're cautious." "That's exactly what we want," Liam replied. "Caution means fear, and fear means mistakes." The first major coordinated strike came in the outskirts of Beijing. Using a combination of EMP devices, signal jammers, and decoy drones, humans disabled a large patrol fleet. The operation was precise and the results were dramatic. Alien drones spiraled into the ground, some colliding with each other, others retreating to the motherships. Civilians cheered, soldiers stood taller, and news broadcasts around the world celebrated the first significant human victory. For the aliens, however, it was an unexpected setback. Their calculations assumed rapid dominance, yet the humans' ingenuity defied every prediction. Reports from the command ships indicated frustration. Sensors and surveillance equipment were failing to capture accurate data. Drones that had been designed to anticipate human behavior were now unreliable. Dr. Moreno studied the alien technology closely. "We can use this," she explained to Major Patel. "Their central communication system is vulnerable. If we can interfere with it, we can blind their operations for longer periods. That could allow humanity to take more decisive action." Major Patel's expression was grim but determined. "Then we prepare for a larger offensive. But we must be careful. The aliens are learning. One mistake could cost us dearly." Meanwhile, in London, volunteers used the city's underground tunnels to launch surprise strikes on drones. Using sound waves, mirrors, and clever camouflage, they disrupted patrols and forced drones into blind zones. Each success, no matter how small, inspired more people to participate. Humanity was fighting on multiple fronts and every effort counted. The turning point came during a daring operation near the Amazon rainforest. A team of scientists and volunteers led a group of drones disguised as flocks of birds to confuse alien surveillance. Using the dense forest, they created traps that forced alien drones to crash into trees or lose signals entirely. The operation was risky, but it worked. For the first time, humans had achieved a large-scale tactical advantage. News of these victories spread rapidly. Across the globe, people gained confidence. Humans were not helpless. They could adapt, strategize, and fight back in ways no one had thought possible. Even the Galactic Council, which had observed countless invasions, was astonished. Reports described humans as unpredictable, creative, and extraordinarily resilient. Other civilizations watched in awe as Earth refused to yield to a force they had assumed unstoppable. In New York, Liam and Maya prepared for their next operation. Using data from previous successes, they mapped out the patrol routes of alien drones and calculated the optimal times to deploy countermeasures. "We've learned their patterns," Liam said. "Now we turn it against them," Maya nodded. "We use their own expectations to trap them. Every calculation they make will be wrong. Every assumption will fail. At the same time, ordinary citizens contributed in unexpected ways. School teachers organized evacuation drills, electricians modified city power grids to disrupt drone sensors, and construction workers used cranes and scaffolding to create visual decoys. Humanity's collective intelligence became a weapon as powerful as any advanced technology. The alien invaders responded with confusion. Drones hesitated, signals were misinterpreted, and coordination among motherships faltered. Every human action, no matter how small, had a ripple effect across the enemy forces. It became clear that the invaders had underestimated their opponent. Humans were not just resisting, they were innovating. In a secure facility in Washington, D.C., the president addressed the nation. "Today, humanity has shown that we are capable of standing against overwhelming odds. We are not powerless. We are not afraid. Every citizen, every scientist, every volunteer has contributed to our defense. Together we are proving that Earth will not be conquered easily." Applause erupted across the world. For the first time since the invasion began, fear was mixed with pride and hope. Humanity had turned the tide not through superior technology, but through creativity, courage, and determination. The aliens, however, were far from defeated. From the command ships, sensors continued to track human activity. Calculations were made and remade, strategies adjusted, but each attempt to anticipate human behavior failed. Every time the invaders thought they had understood their opponent, humans demonstrated a new tactic, a new strategy, or a new way to adapt. Dr. Moreno analyzed the latest data. "They're learning," she said, "but slower than we expected. Our unpredictability is working. Humans are proving that strategy isn't just about power, it's about creativity." Major Patel added, "And courage. Never forget that. The aliens respect power, but they cannot predict bravery. That's why humans are dangerous to them." In cities and towns around the world, humans continued to fight back in small but meaningful ways. Drones were jammed, patrols were disrupted, and civilians helped each other survive. Every victory, no matter how minor, strengthened morale and inspired more people to contribute. Liam and Maya's team executed a bold plan in San Francisco. Using the Golden Gate Bridge and surrounding streets, they created a complex series of signals and decoys that misled alien drones into a trap. For hours, the drones were forced to hover or retreat, unable to complete their reconnaissance. The humans celebrated the operation's success, but they knew it was only the beginning. By the end of the week, it was clear Earth was no longer just a planet under threat. Humanity had proven it could fight back, and in doing so had begun to turn the tide. The invaders had underestimated the human species, assuming that fear and advanced technology alone would secure their victory. Instead, they faced a force they could not easily predict: intelligence, courage, and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The Galactic Council took notice. Reports from countless observers indicated something extraordinary. No other species had resisted this invader for even a day. Yet humans had not only survived, they had adapted, organized, and struck back in ways the aliens had never expected. Representatives of the Council began discussing the implications. A species thought primitive had become a symbol of ingenuity and determination. Back on Earth, Liam and Maya watched the sunset from their rooftop. The sky was still filled with alien ships, but humanity had found a way to challenge them. People in every city were working together, using their creativity to survive and fight back. The sense of fear was still present, but it was now mixed with determination, hope, and pride. "We've done more than survive," Liam said quietly. "We've shown them that humans can fight, adapt, and overcome." Maya nodded. "And we'll keep doing it. Every day, every moment, every action counts. We'll keep surprising them until they realize Earth is not a planet they can control." Above, alien drones recalculated, their sensors searching for patterns they could no longer find. The invaders began to understand a simple truth: humans were unlike any species they had encountered. Resourceful, brave, and unpredictable, humanity had begun to turn the tide of a battle that the galaxy had assumed was already decided. Earth had survived the first stages of invasion. Humans had adapted, fought back, and begun to reclaim control. And as the planet prepared for the next phase of the conflict, one thing was certain: humanity's resilience and creativity had earned them a place in the galaxy that no invader. The alien forces had regrouped. Their earlier failures had frustrated them, but they were far from defeated. From orbit, massive motherships began deploying hundreds of drones, energy pulses glowing ominously against Earth's surface. Cities braced for a full-scale assault. This was no longer a test, it was an attack meant to crush humanity once and for all, yet humans were ready. The small victories of the past weeks had taught the world to adapt, innovate, and fight as one. Governments, scientists, engineers, and ordinary citizens had created a network of defenses that spanned continents. The planet itself became a weapon of ingenuity. Every street, bridge, and building was integrated into the human defense strategy. Dr. Lyra Moreno and Major Aaron Patel oversaw operations from the Underground Command Center in Geneva. "This will be their largest attack yet," Lyra said, tension clear in her voice. "We need to coordinate everything perfectly. One mistake and the cost will be high." Major Patel nodded, studying a holographic map of global drone positions. Humans are counting on every citizen to do their part. This isn't just a military effort. It's everyone working together. That's our advantage. The aliens think in terms of force. We think in terms of creativity, adaptation, and courage. Across the planet, preparations intensified. In Tokyo, engineers fortified bridges and buildings with signal jammers. In Cape Town, volunteers built decoy signals and reflective surfaces to confuse drones. In Rio de Janeiro, teams used the dense urban landscape to create mazes, forcing alien patrols to miscalculate. Every corner of the world was a battlefield. Yet humans were not fighting blindly. They had studied their enemy and learned from every encounter. Liam and Maya Carter worked tirelessly in San Francisco. Their plan was bold. Using the city's hills, bridges, and high-rise rooftops, they would create a network of false signals and decoy movements. Alien drones would be drawn into these traps, giving humans control of critical zones. "We have to be precise," Liam said, placing blinking sensors across rooftops. "One wrong signal and the drones will detect us." Maya checked a tablet showing real-time drone movements. "They're coming faster than expected, but they're still reacting to our patterns. That's good. It means our plan is working." The first wave of drones descended into the city. From a distance, it seemed unstoppable. Hundreds of glowing orbs moving with perfect coordination. But humans had turned the urban landscape into a maze. Signals blinked in confusing patterns. Decoys created the illusion of massive troop movements, and EMP devices caused sudden disruptions. Drones crashed into buildings, miscalculated their paths, or retreated in confusion. In Washington, D.C., volunteers coordinated communication between cities. Each success in one region triggered adjustments in another, creating a global network of defense. Humans were no longer reacting. They were predicting, controlling, and manipulating the battlefield. Meanwhile, the aliens grew increasingly cautious. Their calculations, once perfect, were failing. Drones hesitated. Communication between motherships was disrupted, and their energy pulses missed targets. The invaders realized that the humans' unpredictability and ingenuity made them dangerous in ways no other species had been. Dr. Moreno analyzed the data. "They're learning slowly," she said. "But the more they fail, the more resources they waste. Every error we force weakens them. Humanity has the momentum now." Major Patel's eyes narrowed. "Then we strike decisively. We use this advantage to show the aliens that Earth will not yield." The decisive action came during the second wave of attacks. In Berlin, a team of engineers, soldiers, and volunteers created an elaborate system of decoys, electromagnetic pulses, and signal disruptions. Alien drones, expecting an easy conquest, were met with confusion. Some collided with each other, others retreated to orbit, and several were captured using improvised nets and traps. The operation was dangerous, but the human team succeeded. Civilians watched from shelters and rooftops as their city defended itself. Cheers erupted as news spread globally. Humanity was winning the battle even against overwhelming odds. The aliens, however, were far from defeated. From their motherships, they deployed more advanced drones, faster and more resistant to interference. Energy pulses targeted cities with precision, attempting to regain control. But humans had anticipated this. Using environmental advantages, creative engineering, and precise timing, humans countered the attacks. In San Francisco, Liam and Maya's team executed their bold plan. Drones were drawn into traps using false signals and reflective decoys. EMP devices temporarily disabled advanced units while volunteers guided civilians to safety. For hours, humans controlled the battlefield, forcing the aliens to adapt to Earth's ingenuity rather than imposing their own will. High above, the Galactic Council observed in awe. Reports showed humans achieving coordinated victories that no other species had managed. The invaders were powerful, yet they were struggling against a planet's inhabitants. Every human action, every innovation, every act of courage created ripples across the battlefield that even advanced technology could not predict. The turning point of the battle came in the skies above the Pacific. Using a combination of satellite-guided drones, signal jammers, and decoy devices, humans intercepted a large alien assault before it reached populated areas. Alien drones spiraled out of control, some crashing into the ocean, others retreating. It was a moment of triumph that united the world in hope and determination. Dr. Moreno and Major Patel watched as reports came in. They're starting to fear us, Lyra said. Their strategy is faltering because they cannot anticipate human creativity. Major Patel nodded. Humans are proving that courage, intelligence, and adaptability are more powerful than technology alone. We are showing them that Earth is not a planet to be conquered easily. The alien command ships began to hesitate. Patterns that once guided their forces were failing. Each miscalculation caused wasted resources and vulnerability. Humans had turned the tide not through brute force but through ingenuity, teamwork, and determination. On the ground, acts of bravery continued. Civilians rescued neighbors trapped under debris. Engineers repaired power grids disrupted by alien attacks. Teachers and students helped each other navigate safe zones. Every individual contributed, turning the planet into a network of resistance. Liam and Maya watched from their rooftop as another wave of drones crashed into decoy structures. "We've done it," Maya said quietly. "We've forced them to retreat," Liam smiled. "For now. But they'll return. We have to be ready." Above, alien sensors recorded every human action. The invaders began to understand something they had not anticipated. Earth's inhabitants were unlike any other species they had encountered. Resourceful, courageous, and unpredictable, humans could fight, adapt, and innovate in ways no other civilization had managed. The final stages of the battle required coordination on a global scale. Teams in Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Americas worked together, exchanging data and synchronizing efforts. Each city, each village, each volunteer contributed to a planetary defense system. Humanity had transformed fear into strength, chaos into strategy, and vulnerability into power. By the end of the battle, the alien forces had been repelled from most urban areas. Motherships remained in orbit, but drones were significantly reduced and communication lines between the invaders had been disrupted. Humanity had survived not just by chance, but through planning, courage, and intelligence. The Galactic Council was astonished. Across countless worlds, no species had demonstrated this level of ingenuity and resilience against such a powerful invader. Humans had turned a fight for survival into a statement of capability, earning respect from allies and enemies alike. Dr. Moreno and Major Patel reviewed the reports one final time. "Earth has held," Lyra said, relief and pride in her voice. "Humans have shown the galaxy what we are capable of." Major Patel smiled faintly. "And tomorrow we'll continue to show them. Humanity is not finished. We've taken a stand and no one will forget it." For Liam and Maya, and for every human who had fought, the victory was both exhilarating and humbling. They had faced a force far more advanced than anything on Earth, yet they had survived. They had not only defended their homes, they had demonstrated the power of human intelligence, courage, and creativity. The battle had not ended. The aliens would return, adapt, and attempt to regain control. But humanity had sent a message. Earth was awake, united, and capable of fighting back. And the invaders would never underestimate humans again. As the sun set across the planet, cities repaired and recovered. People looked to the skies with a mix of vigilance and pride. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage, determination, and ingenuity could triumph. Earth's stand was complete for now, and the universe would remember that humans were a species that could not be conquered easily.